Hi, my name's David. Today we're going to change the oil in a 2014 Subaru Impreza. If you've got a different year or model, don't worry about it. What you're doing is pretty much the same. Besides saving a few bucks, changing the oil yourself, you'll have the satisfaction of doing the job yourself and getting to know your car better, and you'll be able to do it with greater care and attention than the overworked, underpaid person that works at the quick lube place near your house. So we'll get started here. I'll start out by showing you the tools you'll need and the supplies you need. Okay, the tools you'll need are a wrench for the filter. There are different wrenches that you can get for the filter. Just take your filter to an auto parts store and they'll show you an oil filter wrench that matches your filter. This one here works well, and it uses a 3/8 socket. So we've got that here, and then for the drain plug you need a 15mm box end or 15mm socket, and it's good to have some rubber gloves. Okay, you'll need an oil filter. I bought a case of these from the Subaru dealer, and buy 12 washers, also drain plug washers. This is the part number here. And then you'll need 6 quarts of oil. The engine holds 5.1 quarts with the filter, and your manual calls for 0W20 weight, and I get fully synthetic oil. This is Mobil's fully synthetic oil. You don't have to use fully synthetic, but it's vastly better than regular oil or even a blend of synthetic and regular. You'll also want to have some rags or shop towels handy, and then you're ready to get to work here. So warm the engine, run it for 5 or 10 minutes, get the oil warmed up, and then we'll put the drain pan underneath the car and get that oil out of the engine into that drain pan. You'll need a drain pan to let the oil go into, and it's handy to have some scraps of cardboard around in case you spill anything, it doesn't get on your garage floor. And you'll also need some sort of a jack to jack up right side of the car or the left side, doesn't really matter which, just a little bit, because the car is pretty low to the ground, and unless you jack it up, it's pretty hard to get underneath there to work. And you'll want some sort of a trouble light just to make it easier to see what you're doing. Okay, as I said a minute ago, you want to slightly jack up the one side of the car. You don't even need to take the tire off the ground, but you just need to give yourself a few more inches for crawling underneath there. You don't have to use a floor jack like this, but it's real easy. They're very easy to use, and they're very convenient. I picked this one up at Costco for 60 or 80 bucks. You can buy them at Harbor Freight for not much money, and it just makes the job a little bit easier. If you don't have a floor jack, you could use the jack that comes with your car or any other type of jack that you have. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to slide this oil pan underneath the car and undo the drain plug. So we'll get that going here in just a second. Before you undo the drain plug, it's not a bad idea to loosen your filler cap. The oil will come out a little bit faster if you do that. Okay, we've positioned the drain pan, and I've undone the plug, and we've drained all the oil into the oil pan. And next thing we're going to do is put the drain plug back in. I'll show you that. Okay, here's the drain plug. This is actually an aftermarket drain plug that has a magnet inside it. That center part is a magnet. So I've wiped off all the metal residue that was on that. And this is the old crush washer. These are, as I said, a crush washer. As you tighten it, you compress this. So when you tighten it, you'll feel it make contact, and then as you tighten it a little bit more, you'll feel it as it's gotten fully crushed. You'll tell that it stopped compressing. So here we've got the new washer, so we're going to install the drain plug and the new washer. And I don't have torque specifications for you, but get it tight, but don't go berserk. You don't want to strip anything. But I think it's steel on steel, so you probably don't need to worry about stripping anything, but just get it good and snug. As I said, you'll be able to feel that crush washer compress as you tighten it. Okay, this is the drain plug right here. It's right in the center of the engine. And before you put in the drain plug with the new crush washer, be sure and wipe that area clean where the crush washer, where the drain plug goes in. And then just tighten it until you feel that crush washer get fully compressed, and then you're done with this step. And now we'll go remove the oil filter, and we'll pour in the oil. Okay, the next step is to remove the oil filter. It's located on the left side of the engine, and it couldn't be any easier to get at. It's right here. All you got to do is put your filter wrench on it, or a strap wrench, and then you unscrew it. Okay, so I've put my filter wrench on this, and I'm going to go ahead and unscrew it, and we'll install the new one. Okay, once you remove the filter, take a rag and wipe clean the area where the filter seats. Get it good and clean. Okay, here's a close-up of the new filter. Before you install it, dip your finger in some of the oil you just drained out and wipe it on this rubber O-ring. Just a little bit of oil, it doesn't take a lot. You just don't want it to be dry when you screw it in. Okay, the filter tells you to tighten it 7/8 of a turn after the gasket makes contact with the seating area. And they also remind you to apply some oil to that O-ring. They also give you the torque tightening. It's 10 to 14 Nm. That's the metric, whatever it is. Anyway, I just go ahead and tighten it 7/8 of a turn after you make contact, the gasket makes contact. So we're going to go ahead and install this. Okay, I tightened it probably about 3/4 of a turn. I couldn't get it quite 7/8 of a turn, but that's going to be good enough. I just did it by hand. That's all you got to do. Okay, so now we're going to remove the filler cap, and this engine holds 5.1 quarts of oil with the oil filter, so we're going to add 5.1 quarts of oil. Filter makes it a little bit easier, reduces your chances of spilling. So just take your filter and your funnel, and add 5.1 quarts of oil. Okay, for that 1/10 of a quart, you can do it two ways. You can just estimate, or if you have a measuring container, you can just pour in roughly 1/10 of a quart, and do it that way. So any way that you want to get as close as possible to 1/10 of a quart. Okay, once you've completed adding your oil, take your funnel out, take a rag, and wipe where the cap seats on that. Wipe it clean, and then also take your filler cap and wipe that clean around that O-ring, and then just go ahead and install the cap. Just tighten it moderately tight. You don't need to go berserk on it. Okay, once you've added your oil, then you should start the engine and run it for 5 or 10 minutes. Look for leaks around the drain plug, and make sure there are no leaks around the oil filter. And if everything looks copacetic, you're all done. One more thing you could do after you've let it run for 5 or 10 minutes, then let it sit for about 10 minutes, and then check your oil level on the dipstick just to make sure that the level looks like it's at the correct level. That's it. You're all done. Okay, thanks for watching, and let me know if you have any questions. It's a very easy job, easy peasy as I like to say, and there's a lot of satisfaction in working on your car yourself and getting to know your car. So have fun and take care. Goodbye. Okay, one last thing, be sure you properly dispose of your oil. Where I live in Seattle, we can put it out in gallon containers, and our recycling folks will pick it up along with our garbage. So in my case, I'm just going to fill this gallon container. I'll actually take a little bit more than that, but I've got some other gallon containers. So just be sure you dispose of it properly. Thanks. Goodbye.